This next hand I have ace-5 from the under the gun. I could decide to raise here, but here I decided to get a little tricky. I decided just to call, and in case someone raises, I might decide just to limp raise. The cutoff raises to 15. Everybody else folds. He looks like a good player. I didn't feel like it was a good decision to limp raise right now, but I would have to call 12 for a pot that has 22 with ace-5 suited, which is a great hand. So I decided to call here, which is not a strong play. Most of the times I'm gonna miss the board. He's gonna bet and I'm gonna fold, but sometimes I will make top 2 pair in the flop. I'm all in. What's up everybody? We start today's vlog playing 1-3 at the Wynn. In my opinion, Wynn has the best 1-3 action in Vegas. And here when I say the best, I'm thinking mostly about good action and a soft field. It is a 1-3 but pretty much plays like a 2-5. I buy in for 500, which is the max at this game. The first hand of this episode, button straddles to 6. I'm in the small blind with pocket 8s. Middle position and low jack call 6. The action gets to me and I raise 45 here. You really have to try to be wise when you think about your sizings. You don't want to make either too small or too big. And here I think 45, it's a great amount. Everybody folds and I take the first spot. Second hand I have king queen offsuit from the button. I have 2 limpers before me. I raise to 18, small blind folds, and then the big blind 3 bets me to $60. He's an old man that later on in the episode will play a big role here. Just wait for it. And I don't think he is doing that light. So if he is not doing it light, many times I'll be dominated by him with ace king, ace queen, queens, kings and aces. And sometimes I will be flipping against jacks, 10s, 9s. If I was suited here, I would definitely call. But offsuit, I just decide to fold and go to the next hand. Next hand I have pocket 8s in the big blind. The same old man raises to 12. Low jack calls. I complete from the big blind. 3 players see the flop. The flop comes queen jack 4. That's not a good flop. I check. They both check back. So we go to the turn. The turn is a 5 of diamonds. After they both check, I'm feeling like there's a pretty good chance I'm winning here, because I don't think any of them would check the queen. And maybe they would check the jack. But I think at least 50% of the times I will be winning here. So I'm gonna bet to protect my equity and hopefully take the hand right there. I bet 21. Under the gun calls, which is not a good sign. Low jack folds. The river comes an ace. That's a bad card for me. I decide to check and probably fold to most of his bets. But then he bets 65. And this sizing is pretty weird actually, because he is polarizing here by betting more than what the pot has. So he's representing a big hand here. And which big hands will he check on this flop? There are some actually, like ace jack or king 10, especially king 10 suited. So after thinking for a while, I decide to let it go. Okay, and now I need to tell you what is happening right now. I'm recording all my hands as I usually do, but the floor has already come to me 2 times to tell me I cannot record. But the table was just too good for me to get out. So what I was doing was saying sorry, but keep recording. Because I saw many other vloggers recording without being bothered. So now I look at the camera like this, because every time I try to record, the same floor just comes back around my table and I have to hide it as well. And after doing that like 3 times, I just decided to try to record it, and next time he comes to me, I'm just gonna accept whatever he decides, and if he kicks me out, he kicked me out. That's it.
Maybe like this.
I understand. I'm gonna leave. Thank you. Alright guys, I just got kicked out from the Wynn again. Actually again no, now I got kicked out for real. Because I was filming it. I came to talk to the guy right after that kicked me out, because he was nice, you know, so I came to talk to him about, man, like, I'm just making free media to you, I'm not bothering no one. At least that was what I thought he was doing. And then he was really nice and he said, man, I'm gonna tell you, there are people that are bothered and come to talk to me and say that, so I gotta make you stop, and as you don't stop, I had to kick you out. Do you guys remember that old man that 3-betted me? he was actually the guy that complained about me with the floor. So he was the reason why the floor came to talk to me and kept watching me while I was trying to record it.
I'm actually grateful for him because the guy who complained, he didn't complain to me, he complained behind my back and his face is not even being shown. I don't show no faces. But yeah, that's life. Now I'm going to another place to play. I made $46, I think, in an hour. That's how close the Resort World is from the Encore, and it's a great spot to be in Las Vegas.
I come to Resorts World, that is in my opinion the second best 1-3 to play in Vegas. Their max buy-in is 400, great environment, great staff. I definitely advise you to check it out if you're in Vegas. Really soft field as well, but I think Wynn's is a little bit softer and they have a bigger max buy-in of 500. The first hand I'm in the big blind with 9-4 suited, cutoff and button limp, small blind completes. I'm gonna raise here. If you watched more of my vlogs, you already know I like to build a loose image for myself in the beginning of the tables I play, so I can take advantage of that in the future. And I also know that I will usually raise here and they're gonna fold, and even if they call, I know that I will be able to see bet and keep playing aggressively depending on the board, and I will just take the pot. So I raised to 21 here, only the cutoff calls, we're playing heads up, his effective stack is 400, the flop comes ace, deuce, deuce, rainbow. That's a pretty dry flop. I don't think there are many deuces in his range, and there are some 8s, but most of the times he is not gonna have the 8. So I'm gonna see bet here, and in case he comes another heart or a 9, I will probably bet again, but he folds and I take the pot. This next hand I have ace-5 from the under the gun. I could decide to raise here. Most of the times I would do that, but here I decided to get a little tricky. I decided just to call, and in case someone raises, I might decide just to limp raise, or just to call and see a flop. Depends on the situation I see myself. The cutoff raises to 15. Everybody else folds. He looks like a good player. I didn't feel like it was a good decision to limp raise right now, but I would have to call 12 for a pot that has 22 with ace-5 suited, which is a great hand. So I decided to call here, which is not a strong play. Most of the times I'm gonna miss the board. He's gonna bet and I'm gonna fold, but sometimes I will make top 2 pair in the flop. So I check here. He does what he's supposed to, which is betting most of the ace-high boards. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to here, which is check raising with top 2 pair. He snap calls, which shows some strength from his part, especially because there is no flush draws in the board. The turn comes a deuce of spades. Any 3 would make a straight, but I don't think there are many 3s in his range, so there's no big reason for me to stop betting here. I bet 90 this time. He thinks for a while and decides to call again. The river is a great one, a deuce of clubs. If he has ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, he will probably call my all-in here.
I'm all in.
So I shove all-in for 250. He calls, I show ace-5, and he mucks. Little more than an hour of game, winning 315. This hand I'm in the under the gun with pocket jacks. I raise to 15, cut off calls, and then the button re-raises to $60. I'm not feeling great here. The 1-3 field, 3 betting range is most of the times value. Suited connectors here, he will usually just call in the button. So I believe his 3 betting range will look mostly like this. Just so you know, his calling range is not into this range chart. I'm just considering the hands that he would 3 bet here. So as you can see, some of the hands I'm winning here, but most of the hands I'm either flipping or way behind. So I decide to call here, cut off folds. The flop comes 5-3 deuce, rainbow. I check, he bets 60, and most of the people would simply call here. But in my opinion, that's a fold, and I'll explain why. If you pay attention to his range, the hands that I'm winning pre-flop now hit most of the flop, except the 10s and the 9s. And most of the hands that I'm flipping pre-flop, like ace-queen suited, ace-jack suited, ace-king off, ace-queen off, now have a gut shot and 2 overs. Besides the hands that most of the times I think he will have, which is aces, kings, queens, and jacks. Because this field rarely 3 bets with 9s and 10s here. So the best case scenario would be happening the minority of the times, And the worst case scenario, in worst and bad cases, I would be either way behind or pretty much being close to be flipping against a player who is playing in position in a game that is deep. So I know that's a clear call for most of you, but it is not a clear call for me because I know he's not gonna stop betting and there's not too many great turns for me besides a jack. And looking at him, I felt strength since the pre-flop. So those are all of the reasons why I just snap fold when he c-bets. In case you disagree with me, or if you want to add up something to it, feel free to add your thoughts there, and I will try to answer all of it. Next hand, I'm in the middle position with pocket 5s. Under the gun +1 raises to 15, I call in position. Everybody else folds, so we're playing heads up. The flop comes 6-5-3 with 2 spades. He c-bet big here. I consider raising, but his stack is not too big, it's around 200 to 250. And because I don't think there are many low cards in his range raising from the under the gun, I don't think he's running for many straights here. So I decide just to call and let his bluffing range remain in the hand. I make quads in the turn, so now I'm just hoping to extract maximum value here. And he bets 25 again. This shows weakness in my opinion. He has like 200 more in his stack, so if he was strong, he would probably bet an amount that he could shove on the river. So here I decide to call again, so I don't scare him away. The river comes a brick, jack of clubs, and now he bets $70. He has like 140 behind. I'm just gonna take my time here and go all in. All in. I shove all in for 210 total. He thinks for like 20 seconds and decides to fold. Next hand I get aces from the under the gun +1. I raise to 15. Cut off and big blind call. The flop comes 6-5-3 with 2 diamonds. He checks to me. I bet 35. Low jack folds. Big blind calls. We go heads up to the turn. The turn is a jack of diamonds. He has like 250 in his stack. I could find good reasons to bet or to check. To bet would be to protect my equity here. And to check would be because I have the ace of diamonds. So if I check, I might represent weakness so he can bluff me on the river. And I also have a plan B of hitting a diamond and having the nuts. So I decide to check back here. The river is a good one, a jack of spades. He checks again, and now I'm gonna bet for value here. I bet 80 and he snap folds. The next and last hand of this episode, I get pocket queens in the middle position. Prepare yourselves, cause this one will be very interesting. I have queens in the middle position. Under the gun +1 raises to 18. He was a tight guy who was not playing too many hands. So here, although most of the times I'm gonna 3-bet with queens, I decided to go just with the call and trap him in the next following streets. Button and small blind calls as well. So 4 players see the flop. The flop comes 3-4-4 with 2 spades. I don't have the queen of spades. Small blind and button check to me. I'm gonna bet here for value and also to protect my equity. I bet 35, button fold, and then the small blind check raises to 105. And this check raise is pretty weird. I don't think there are many 4s in his range besides ace 4 suited, because he was in the small blind against a raise of 18. And he's an Asian guy who was playing pretty solid and who looks like a good player. So I think his range here will be mostly flush draws, combo draws like ace 5 of spades, ace deuce of spades, 6-7 of spades. So I'm beating many hands on his range. I'm gonna call here and reevaluate in the turn. But then the turn comes a queen of hearts, which is great. Now I'm feeling really safe here. If he has the last combination of pocket 4, congrats, he's gonna have all my chips. He keeps betting. He bets 250. I take my time here, but I'm gonna just call. The effective stack is my $1,280. So in case he checks river, I can totally overbet shove, making it seem like a bluff. So I take my time and just call. The river comes a brick, 9 of clubs. I'm hoping to see him betting all in here, which is not exactly what happened. He bets 500.
I'm all in.
I shove all in, and then a Russian player in my right decides to film this spot, which I only knew later when he told me he recorded and wanted to send me the video. And I'll let you guys see his footage from now.
Oh my god.
He calls.
Oh
Oh, that shit is sick.
2 nines, bro.
He shows a 4.
Oh, wow.
I have good kicker too.
That shit is sick. Nice hand.
553.
Huge pop, huge pop.
Let me see one of these, okay?
Very good. 1,000 something.
Wow. That is sick.
I can see everything. That's good.
20,000.
Wow. Hey, did I tell you you were handsome?
1032.
And after I count the chips, I realized that's actually the biggest spot of my life, which is a total of $2,855 pot. Almost 1,000 big blinds for this game. Huge pot for a 1-3. This day was really interesting, getting kicked out from the Wynn, so then I could get this great resort at Resorts World. That just reinforces my belief that karma is real and doing the right thing is always the right thing to do. This woman was really nice. I wish I could remember her name, but unfortunately I can't, and it was really nice to meet her.
Man, poker is crazy, guys. It's amazing how karma is so connected on poker. After all that happened in Wynn, the guy kicking me out, the guy telling me that it wasn't for him, but it was another guy. Thank God he kicked me out, because otherwise I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't play the spot. I wouldn't play the biggest spot of my life. I wouldn't win the biggest spot of my life. And that's poker, you know. I'm so glad to have won today, and this win really gives me a lot of oxygen to keep doing the content for you, to keep producing content, because sometimes I have to play less to produce more content, and it's rewarding, you know. It's rewarding to see you guys that you appreciate the work I do. And there are some haters here and there, but you know what, that's fine. The haters started to show up after I started to be a little more relevant, and they're probably gonna keep going up, so I have to be ready for this. And thank you all for watching. I'm gonna do my best to do the best content I can for you always, and to help you to improve at poker and to make more money at poker. That's the main goal of the channel. And thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the channel. I'm doing my best to really help you improve your results at poker. I really hope I'm achieving that goal, and see you all next time.